Do you want to tell us a little bit about I guess, because I read somewhere that you were talking about the new, more compelling institutions that are sort of undermining the old infrastructures of corporate labels or corporate radio stations?
Well, there was a period for many, many years, the only viable way that musicians had to reach an audience was to sign with a major label and go through really big radio stations. And now, with the internet, musicians can communicate much more directly with fans, and in turn, fans can communicate more directly with musicians. And I think that's really healthy. I still think there's a role for record companies and for radio, but I love the fact that, like if I write a piece of music, I can put it up online, and 10 minutes later, people are telling me what they think about it. Yeah. So, I don't know, it seems a lot more egalitarian and empowering in a way, and the only downside is there's sort of this glut of information. There's so much music out there and so much culture, and it's like it can get overwhelming. You could spend every minute of every day for the rest of your life just listening to music, and you'd barely scratch the amount of music that's actually being released.
I understand that you've made accessibly available some of your music for filmmakers. Mm-hmm. Well, how come?
Well, when I was in university, I was a philosophy major, but I went to a film school. I don't know how I ended up studying philosophy at a film school. It's called SUNY Purchase. And I still have a lot of friends who are involved in the world of experimental film and independent film, and their biggest complaint is always that licensing music is very difficult and very expensive. So I started a website called Moby.com, and it works pretty simply. People can go there. There are about 70 pieces of music up there, and if you're a filmmaker, you can go there and download the music and use it for free. So it's basically just free music for indie filmmakers.
Also, from your Play album, every track was commercially licensed.
Sort of. Yeah.
But as you became known as a really wanted remixer, and then as you started doing other people's assignments, how did that differ from being when people put their desires and wishes into your hands, the hands of an expert, versus sort of doing your own masterpieces?
Well, ultimately, I get the most satisfaction just working on my own music, but I've really enjoyed working with other people, because then you can see how they approach the creative process. And I've worked with such a weird bunch of people. I've worked with Metallica and Britney Spears, and I've worked with David Bowie and Lou Reed and Aerosmith and Brian Eno and the Beastie Boys and the Prodigy and Public Enemy. I've worked with so many different people, and it's just I've worked with Michael Jackson and worked with such a bizarre group of people. And it's great because then you can see everybody approaches the creative process differently. But whenever I work with other people, it does sort of make me just want to go back home and work on my own music.
When Play got picked up after its 1999 release, mm-hmm. What did that tell you about the music industry? Because you had put out a lot of records before that, and mm-hmm. this one kind of hit home.
Well, the album I made before Play was called Animal Rights, and that was this really dark, obscure punk rock record. And it was my record label and my managers basically refer to it as my career-killing album, because it's a really difficult record, and very few people liked it. Of course, it's my favorite record of all the ones I've made. So when Play came out, no one expected it to be successful. I certainly didn't expect it to be successful, and I don't know. It was confusing, because in my mind, I've always seen myself as being a very weird, sort of obscure underground musician. So whenever I've had any sort of success, it's just confused me, because I never thought I'd have a record contract. I never thought I'd have any success. I really thought that I would spend my entire adult life making music in my bedroom that no one would ever listen to. And so it's bizarre when you perceive yourself to be an outsider artist, and you end up actually being a weird sort of mainstream artist. Yeah. I don't think I make mainstream music per se, but I'm sometimes very confused at how I ended up here.